but we understand because we know you probably would have had your career destroyed. All those years in medical schools, all the lives that you save when you treat patients, you won't be able to do anymore because the certification bureaus, the boards, they will destroy your career. Again, I've seen it. I know the people. It happened during COVID. So yeah, I mean, is it a grand conspiracy? I don't know what you call it. It's certainly what I would call the COVID cartel and the medical establishment cartel and captured agencies. Yeah, that absolutely exists. Part of the problem with that, the Anderson et al. Study in Denmark that's being touted that aluminum is not a problem, is people questioning cannot get the data even though it's already been de-identified. Correct?
I mean, that's true.
Yes. And by the way, the data safety link.
Yeah, the VSD, the vaccine safety data link.
What happened to that? How available is that right now?
It's not. In 2000, up until 2000, it was part of the CDC, and you could get access to it through a FOIA. A number of people did. Published studies the CDC didn't fit the policy about vaccines, and so they then shifted it over to a trade association to get it out of the reach of the Freedom of Information Act and others. It's been distributed. You can't get
that's
access
not
to
very.
VSD.
That's just the it's not exactly transparency, is it?
It's actually literally. It's not only is it not transparent. You cannot get the data underlying VSD studies they published, like the data for 2 of them, which is antithetical to how science. You can't do reproducibility. Not only that, it's selection bias, because if you want to do a study, it has to go through CDC's clearance process, actually, which means that only studies that conform with its policy that vaccines are safe are going to get published.
So let's talk about the V-Safe, which was established for the COVID injection. 10 million people voluntarily signed up. I mean, I think what they were reported is completely inadequate. But talk about how you had to sue and how long it took you to get the data from what was supposed to be the transparent safety surveillance system, and then what the results were. Quick tell that story.
Over 2 years, actually collectively almost 3 years of litigation it took. V-Safe was a safety system rolled out in December 2020 along with the release of the first COVID vaccine. Up until that point, CDC touted VAERS, and they said, well, VAERS isn't reliable. We're going to have V-Safe. V-Safe, they said, was a robust, rapid way to identify safety issues with COVID-19 vaccine. 10 million Americans signed up very rapidly over about 6 months. These were the vaccine enthusiasts who got the vaccine from December 2020, and about 9 million in those first 6 months. And they got a form to fill out every day for 7 days after the shot, then every week for 6 weeks, and then 3 times after that. On that form, we checked the boxes. There were basically 2 types of check the boxes. First, check the box was for symptoms. But the symptoms that the CDC chose to include were the ones that they say are normal and fine after the vaccine, and they only collect that for 7 days, what they call reactogenicity. They're good. They show the vaccine is working. You're having an immune response. So that data was completely irrelevant for assessing safety. In fact, they reported 60-70% of people reporting having that, and the CDC said, great. That leaves only one other check-the-box data that was actually worthwhile, and that was folks seeking hospital care, missing school or work, or not performing normal daily activities. Well, what the CDC was doing is they were pumping out study after study after study that only showed the first week after the shot for those 3 categories. Well, we wanted to see the full data set. My client, the Informed Consent Action Network, wanted to see the full data set. So we said to the CDC, hey, this stuff's totally de-identified. Just release it. It's literally sitting there in files. You could release it in 2 minutes. Took us almost two federal lawsuits, a year and a half of litigation, 2 years of litigation almost to get that data. And when we did, it was clear why the CDC wanted to hide it. It wanted to hide it because what it showed was 7.7% of these vaccine enthusiasts reported needing medical care that they attributed most likely to the vaccine after getting the COVID shot. 7.7, that's 1 in 13. And on average, they sought medical care 2 to 3 times each. You don't go to seek medical care 2 to 3 times each. And 75% of those were hospitalization, emergency room, or urgent care. So these were serious issues. I don't know if, and that was the only data point that V-Safe could possibly have used to actually assess safety. If 1 in 13 seeking medical care on average 2 to 3 times each of the manner I just described is not enough to pull the plug, it was clear V-Safe was not designed to assess safety. V-Safe was designed to affirm its a priori belief this shot was safe. If it wanted to make V-Safe actually a system that would assess safety, it would have added, for example, a check the box for chest pain, right? So they can assess myocarditis. It could have added a check the box for the numerous adverse events of special interest that its own V-Safe protocol identified 2 months before it rolled out, including myocarditis, pericarditis, all the issues blood clotting we ended up seeing. From the clinical trial, apparently, it knew that these could potentially be issues. It put it in the design documents, but it never made it into the actual system itself. V-Safe was not designed. It's the closest thing to mens rea, purposeful intent to design this system to assure that it would never actually show a safety issue. I don't think they expected that many people to report seeking medical care.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Thanks. I just want to emphasize that the last thing I want to do is cause any harm. The last thing I want to do is the last thing I want is for anyone to be harmed by a vaccine. If there is a vaccine safety issue, I want it to be detected. And there are multiple overlapping layers of monitoring systems that I do think work pretty well. Are they perfect? No. But when it comes to, de-identifying data and all that, it's a little complicated. So, but there are a number of other data monitoring systems. But it's just really important that we understand that there is not some grand conspiracy amongst the CDC, FDA, EMA, around the entire world, thousands of scientists and doctors and public health experts, you really believe are conspiring for the sake of helping pharmaceutical industries profit?
I think
May I respond?
I think this is a case example why that happens, is because if you conduct a study and get the results that runs counter to their interests, they will destroy you. I mean, again, I had Dr. Peter McCulloch, I had Dr. Pierre Corey, I had a bunch of other people come before Congress, testify truthfully. Their careers were destroyed. They were destroyed. It doesn't take too many people to be targeted and made an example of before everybody else kind of goes, I don't think I'll step out of line. And so I think that's, again, the sympathy shown by Mr. Bigtree and Mr. Siri in terms of the people that they convinced to do the study. They didn't basically want to rat him out. I'm the one that ratted him out. Okay, and so I forced him along here. Okay, and again, and I hope, God, I truthfully hope, because I think the people who did those studies, Dr. What is it?
Dr. Zervos.
Again, I don't want to see them lose their job. I'd like to pin a medal on them in terms of, good, you conducted a great study. Shame on you for not publishing it, but we understand because we know you probably would have had your career destroyed. All those years in medical schools, all the lives that you save when you treat patient, you won't be able to do anymore because the certification bureaus, the boards, they will destroy your career. Again, I've seen it. I know the people. It happened during COVID. So yeah, is it a grand conspiracy? I don't know what you call it. It's certainly what I would call the COVID cartel and the medical establishment cartel and captured agencies. Yeah, that absolutely exists. Okay? You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think that, I love people. I love my patients. I try to give them the best care that I can provide them. I discuss the risks and benefits. I discuss the risks and benefits of every vaccine or every intervention. I have a nuanced conversation with them. I don't shame them, no matter what their views are.
Do you think doctors should have been fired for prescribing ivermectin? Do you think they should have had their certification taken away from them? Do you think they should have been sued? Do you think that should happen to doctors? By the way, ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine are all FDA approved, and you as a physician have full off-label prescription rights, correct?
Correct. So
again, do you think it was right that doctors who prescribed ivermectin were fired, were decertified, lost their license. Do you think that should have happened?
I don't have an opinion about that.
You really don't, huh?
No, I don't. I mean, I've never thought about it. I don't.
Think about it now. And we'll come. And by the way, I truly want you to come back.
I would love to. This has been a real.
Okay, swear on the Bible. 'Cause
pleasure.
We're going to have you come back with Peter McCulloch and Dr. Pierre Corey and Brian Cole. Might even have Dr. Malone. Which, by the way, don't leave, because I think I'm going to ask consent to have you come up and defend yourself, seeing as you were slandered in this hearing. I think we're kind of running the course here. I mean, I could keep going. I mean, I would recommend everybody watching the hearing. This will be posted. Mr. Siri's response to Dr. Scott's testimony.